What is going on, Nuggets Nation NBA fans? I am Tom Leuthner. Welcome back in to Nuggets today. We obviously have some pretty big news. Day two of free agency is officially over. Denver has made some massive moves, realistically, compared to what we've done for the last couple of years. And I am so excited to actually cover these. I know the setup is different, covered that a couple of days ago. We are back on the road. But the first thing I want to cover is actually the coaching addition that Denver has made. And that is somebody that we talked about was a potential signing as an assistant coach for David Adelman's staff. And that is JJ Barea. Now, there's multiple reasons I like JJ Barea. One, I think that Bruce Brown is now going to be Denver's backup point guard after the moves that were made today, and I will cover those in a little while. So that means that Jalen Pickett is going to be the third string. Now, JJ Barea is an undersized point guard who played on a Dallas Mavericks championship team as a role player, was a role player his entire career, playing under the names of a guy like Jason Kidd. So I think that he can, one, help Jalen Pickett develop, because I think that Jalen Pickett's not to say undersized, but he is 6'2" at the point guard position. So JJ Barea may be able to help develop Jalen Pickett. But I also think he plays a big part in developing guys like Julian Strawther, guys like Peyton Watson, those role players who are coming off the bench. I think he will have a good step in Christian Brown's development if we do see another jump from Christian Brown, especially because Brown is more of a role player in this starting five than majority of the players that are in the actual starting five. So I think that JJ is a great assistant coach. I feel that there has been a lack of NBA talent on the coaching staff for Denver. If obviously players who have played in the NBA and come and have coached Denver in the last few years. So I do think that JJ is going to be a great addition to the coaching staff, especially since it is a new coaching staff trying to figure everything out. The next topic is obviously something that I am super excited about, and that is that the Denver Nuggets may have landed Jokic's best backup option that we have seen in a very long time. Now, I know DeMarcus Cousins was there. I know that Mason Plumlee was there. But Jonas Valanciunas for Dario Saric was an amazing trade. Nobody saw it coming. Everybody thought that Dario was going to sit on the books, that Denver wasn't going to move for anybody. I know that today, and I keep bringing it up, the group chat I'm in, we're talking about centers, and everybody thought that Al Horford would be the guy that they were going to bring in, and I think that was the talk around the town. You don't get Yabusele. That's fine. He was a power forward center combo. You have Deron Holmes, but now you're bringing in Jonas. And I know that Jonas isn't a great defender, but we have Deron Holmes to be a rim protector, and I think that people are really undermining the fact that Deron Holmes was a fantastic 3-and-D center when he was in college prior to his injury. I think that he is a great rim protector, even though he's a little bit smaller. And I think that Jonas Valanciunas is going to be able to help Denver, and he's only going to learn under Jokic. I know that's crazy to say because Jokic obviously isn't this super old vet, but Jonas is good enough, or Jokic is good enough to teach Jonas how to play like him off the bench. Now, you look at Jonas's stats, and I mean, playing off the bench last year, especially in just Sacramento, so I'm looking at his specific Sacramento stats. He was averaging just around 9 points per game. He was averaging 7 rebounds per game. He was averaging 2 assists per game, and he was doing that all in 17 minutes per game. So now Denver knows that there is a legitimate backup center that is able to play 17 minutes a game when Jokic needs a break. Now, this might be the first time in a while that we've seen Jokic maybe sit out a couple more games throughout the season as well to prevent wear and tear coming to the playoff run. But this also gives Denver one of the deepest benches in the league. And that's something I'm going to talk about with this next player because obviously it wasn't the only move made today. And I know that you're taking on a little bit of a bigger contract with Jonas Valanciunas, of course, but it also dumps Dario, who wasn't going to play and didn't do anything for Denver's contract. So I think that it really is a step in the right direction, and I really do appreciate what this management has been doing this entire offseason so far, and it's only been 2 days at the time of this recording. So I think that move is a fantastic move. Again, you're able to move Dario. I'm not sure what the Kings were thinking because after that, it was an agreement on a buyout and sign of Drew Eubanks. So essentially, you're moving Jonas, who's probably a top 5 to 7, maybe 10 backup center in the NBA, for Drew Eubanks and Dario Saric. Maybe they think it's going to be depth that can help them, and maybe Dario does play with them and helps them. But I don't think that the move in their favor meant anything. And I think for Denver, it really pushes Denver to that next tier of teams, and it gets them right back to where they were, about 2 to 3 years ago. This next topic is obviously the next signing that Denver had. And this is somebody, like I said, I was talking to the community and I'm covering certain players, and I had made a list of players that I wanted Denver to go out and get prior to this signing. And those were people that were available. One of the names was Trey Mann, who obviously went back to Charlotte. One of the names was Bol Bol. And then right after I spoke about that, obviously they traded for Jonas. And the last name was this specific player, and that is Tim Hardaway Jr. Now, I'm sitting downstairs playing some Xbox. I'm with my family, with my brother, and I see this report. And my brother, who's not even a Nuggets fan, I give him a high five. I was so excited that I really do think that this pushes the limit of Denver. Not only does it push the limit of how good their team can be, but now it pushes guys like Julian Strawther and Peyton Watson, because they're going to have to earn their minutes over a solidified vet who this season in Detroit on a playoff team, he was averaging 11 points per game. He was averaging 2.4 rebounds, 1.6 assists. He was shooting 36%, 36.8 or 0.368% from the three-point line, so right around 37% from three, and that's on 6 attempts per game. So now Strawther is going to have to live up to that, but I also think now Julian Strawther can develop and have have Tim Hardaway Jr. really help him out with his development and teach him everything the vet needs to, or that he needs to know under a veteran who's actually been in the playoffs in the last few years. I mean, 2 years ago, this guy was a Sixth Man of the Year candidate, as well as in 2020, 2021, he was a Sixth Man of the Year candidate. I think he really is that good of a vet that Denver was. I think, again, like I said, I think it's a perfect move. I really do. I think that he fits the system. I think that Jokic now gets a sharpshooter off the bench along with Strawther, but it also gives Denver the versatility of, we could have a bench rotation, or if we want to play 4 guys around Jokic that are Deron Holmes, Julian Strawther, Bruce Brown, Tim Hardaway Jr., and Peyton Watson. Now, Watson's not the best shooter, but that's 4 shooters around Jokic. Sure, it's a smaller lineup, obviously, but I'm just saying that's a hypothetical lineup that Denver can run, and I think that is fantastic. I think that it's amazing. I think this is the best Denver team that we have seen in a very, very long time. Now, this last topic I want to get into is just something that I have hopes for within the next couple days, and things that I hope really do happen. And like I said, I had a list of players. One other name on that list is Amir Coffey. Now, Denver doesn't have a bench slot available, but they do have Zeke Najee's contract on the books still. I would love to see a move where Denver's able to dump Najee's contract for maybe 1 or 2 second rounders and go out and give that money to Amir Coffey. Then you have a legitimate 11-man rotation. You're stepping up from a 10-man to an 11-man. I think that would be a fantastic move. I think that there are some other guys in the market that I would love to get. I would love to do that for a guy like Chris Boucher, so you have guaranteed 3 strings of centers. You have Boucher, or 4, I guess, technically, Boucher, Deron Holmes, Jonas Valanciunas, and Jokic. I would love it if a move like that were to happen in order for Denver to get Najee off the books and guys who will actually play into the rotation. So I think that Denver's going in the right direction. I don't think I've ever been this happy about an offseason since we got Paul Millsap. So, I think that this is a fantastic move for Denver, and I really do think that Denver's pushing in the right direction. And there may be more moves to come. There may not be. Who knows? But as of right now, I think we are in a great position. I think that we are set up for next year to be legitimate competitors again. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys. Nuggets Nation, I will catch you guys tomorrow. Make sure to hit that like, subscribe, and comment. And I will catch you guys next episode.